Given the empowerment bias that technology has, what could the future of violent extremism look like, and what could the future of how we address violent extremism look like? Carrie?
I just suffered an acute identity crisis. I had to learn to fight back or else I'd get abused even more.
My first encounter with a gang was when I was in 5th grade. I was 11 years old.
I went to the streets for camaraderie and comfort. That's where the gang members embraced me and welcomed me with open arms.
Gangs, cults, extremist groups provide a strong sense of solidarity and brotherhood.
Farah Pandith is the U.S. Special Representative to Muslim Communities. She's the first person to hold this position and was appointed by U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. I've known Farah for a very, very long time and have traveled all around the world with her. She's hands down one of the most well-versed.
Why are the people right on the walls? Because I've never seen that. And we went to the community that she had rented an apartment in, and I seen all these guys running around, so I joined right in what they was doing. You know, at the time we was very, very young, and we wasn't gangbang, but that's what it developed it into. It was, at first, like I said, we was just innocent kids, but as we got older and the dope came into communities, we started using the dope as a source of resource to get money. And I was just a product of my environment. Everybody around there was getting involved in gangs, and the dope and the guns started coming in. So we gave ourselves, we didn't give ourselves a name. The name was already there. We just adopted that name and just ran with it. We was just younger people that was coming up into a gang that was already there before I got here. So I just joined right in. There was nothing else interesting in the community for me to do it. Nothing attracted me like the gangs and what they had going on doing. They the one had all the nice cars. They the one had the jewelry and all the girls. So that's what I was attracted to.
Did your family know?
You know, I was raised without a father. My mother and my grandmother raised me, and so we didn't have that father figure there. We didn't have that hardcore voice there. At one point, my mom and them, they couldn't tell us nothing. I have 5 brothers, and all of us was involved in the same game. So at a certain point in my life, my mom and my grandmother, they knew what was going on in the community. They might have not had an idea that we was involved right away, but as we got older and started, you know, going to jail and committing violent crimes, they knew, of course, what we was doing.
Now, we've talked separately about what's happening in Nigeria, and I've been very privileged to be able to go to
It's a product of your environment, but that's what you're looking for. You're trying to find something to be a part of. You're looking for somebody to accept you in. You're looking for some of the love and that you're not getting at home. And when you out those doors, those gang members have doors wide open. They're like, come on in with the low self-esteem. Come on in with your, you know, come on in to do whatever. We're going to play on your weakness to make you do something. They capitalize off of your weakness. If they gang members already, pretty much when you're coming in, they already have a mission for you to do. So identity play a big part in it because we all want to belong to something. We want to be a part of something. And once you belong to it, you want to be a hierarchy within that organization. So you do whatever you can to build your credibility and identity up to become who you're trying to become within that gang.
At what age were the narratives present, I mean, in your neighborhood? I mean, how young were people who were interested in being part of that identity?
People can start off as young as even from the age of 12 all the way up. Most gang members in Los Angeles, by the age of 25, pretty much whatever is going to happen is going to happen by that age. I got shot at 25. Most of the guys that I know by the age of 25 had already went to prison, or by the age 25, I know over hundreds of people that have been killed. But in that age bracket, you pretty much have your mind made up what you want to do after 25. Some people get in a little late and go, but 25 is mostly the average lifespan of a gang member.
So, a lot of kids go through identity crisis. Growing up, a teenager goes through an identity crisis. Who am I? What am I supposed to do in the world? What's the purpose of life? What do you think is the motivating factor to go to such an extreme as opposed to rebelling?
I think you it's a sense of belonging. You want to belong somewhere that you'll do anything to be a part of it. To be a part of not just gangs, just to be a part of a group. I can remember when I was young and when I lived in Mississippi, I was too young to become a Cub Scout, but my brother already was, and even when he wasn't around, I would put his Cub Scout stuff on and look in the mirror to say, oh, when I get there, this is how I'm going to look. So you just wanted to belong to something so bad that you'll go to any extreme to be a part of it.
Did the issue of identity hit hard?
That strong father figure, that voice would have made a difference along with my mother and grandmother for me to become a better person, but also is what needed. It's a lot of programs in Los Angeles that's going on. I came in with a group of people and they all have their own different types of programs, but we all collaborate together. And when you got all these different groups, it becomes an issue of funding. I worked with a lot of different programs for years and we did some great work, but after the funding run out, that work was just thrown away, and it seemed like that's one of the major issues that we deal with is funding in LA, and having somebody to continue to fund something that's going to be just going to last forever, that people can always come back to, and you can see the kids grow from young gang members, and then they turn up to be community activists and doing the job that we do, because eventually we're going to get older and move on, and somebody has to take over and continue to do this. So one of the main tools, I think, is continual funding that we need to keep these programs alive. And I know we have a big problem now with the economy and everything, but funding is one of the big things.
Thank you, Ryan. That's what.
I believe that
I think that this summit right here was something that's never been done, and I think something like this to put together all these people from all over the different worlds to sit together, even not when we're on the panel, when we're at the hotel or just sitting around talking to each other and networking with each other, and through, I feel we're going to be able to network more through social internets, besides us coming together like this again, and take something that you gathered from here, from somebody else, and take it back to the community that you grew up in. It's something that you'll be able to take to use, and use that for something positive that's going to go ahead and lead us into the future.
Great. Thank you, Ryan.
I have been trying the past week to figure out Twitter and Facebook and different things. So when I have thoughts, or have had thoughts yesterday and today, I'm trying to jot them down so I can share them later. And last night, I went back to my room and I was sitting there with so much running through my head. And all I could think was that just by being here, we're changing the world. And we're able to make history and do something that's never been done. And this is such an opportunity to continue that kind of change and to make such a huge difference.
Thank you very much. Emma?
I think there's only one without anything to say is that this is a moment that Google should catch up on this opportunity, and every one of us. My organization, the Interfaith Mediation Center, we are developing an early warning and early response system on religious motivated violence. There are ethnic or racial motivated violence. There are other cultural motivated violence. Can we have a network to facilitate a process in which we have a modus on which anybody can access to say, yes, if you see X, Y, Z, radicalism, you see negative or positive radicalism. Fanaticism then fanaticism, yes, this is fanaticism, we must do away with it. This is extremism, we must do away with this. This is terrorism, we must do away with it. Either in war, in action, or even in written word. Even images, we can identify those things. And we start putting early warning signals. We put a danger line that when you Google it, you can see this is negative, negative, negative word. If you see this kind of word are negative, if Google will do this, as one of the outcomes, I think it will be a greater service for humanity. You see, those are young children, they will have an indicator that this word is a negative, this word is negative. And then it will now become a coded dictionary. I don't know how they jumble with the computer to do a coded. You see that people will now say, yeah, what you are doing, you are promoting hate. You are moving towards this side. I think this will be a good service, not only for Muslims, because today the Islamic world and Judeo-Christian Western world and America has this type of, how can we close the gap? Because there's so much that unite the Muslim world and Judeo-Christian traditions. There's so much that unite them but divide us. And we can use this opportunity to start finding a playing level ground.
Thank you very much. Sammy, you get the last word.
I think it's important for each of us to forgive our battles, to forgive what's been done to us and ourselves for what we've done to others. I think the world, in addition to love, needs more forgiveness, and I think this is a big piece of that resolution, in a sense. And the spirit, one of the reasons I avoid indoctrinating myself into a religion is because I don't want to be marginalized, although I already am. I want to be able to have the freedom to learn from you or from whoever, and I feel that I don't need the 1-800 number to whatever is waiting for me out there. I think you are the answer. And as I think Google has already figured out, for every person you introduce me to, that person introduces me to 2 more people. And I think that's the real genius behind the effort of what you've done so far today.
I want to thank this extraordinary...
A lot of it was not being alone anymore.
All of my friends were involved. It was more like a family structure.
I had no clue what the difference was between true respect and fear. You can never look weak. Weakness gets you killed.
A lot of fights, a lot of beatings.
We were taught